Geez, that makes me nervous. Oh. Where did he go? Is he on me? Well, this is going to be an interesting episode because I think it will probably be titled the only time Coyote Peterson has ever had to go to the hospital for an insect bite or sting. And the bite wasn't given by an insect or an arachnid, bites were given by me. So we're in Thailand right now, and for the past 4 days, I've pretty much been bed-stricken with some sort of horrible stomach virus. I'm barely able to keep any food in. I'm exhausted, I'm sweating, I have chills, I have muscle aches. Just to walk out here to sit down at this table actually exhausted me a bit. So if you notice my energy being a bit lower than it typically is in an episode, it's probably because I haven't slept much. We were in Thailand, Bangkok to be specific, and we thought it would be awesome to make an episode you guys probably already saw, which was Coyote Peterson biting back at the bugs that bite him, where I ate 12 different species of insects and arachnids, including a scorpion, a tarantula, and a centipede. Well, in all fairness, I didn't swallow necessarily all parts of those 3 big ones.
I don't know what was inside of that, but it looked like the worst. Ugh.
I think they made me sick. Right now, we're kind of assuming, guessing, thinking, for the purposes of production, making, that the culprit for what's put me in this state of ailment. But lo and behold, while we were on this location, as luck would have it, our amazing friend Lockie from Australian Wildlife Encounters managed to find the 3 creatures that I ate. Only these ones are not dead, they're alive. So we figured there was ever a point for Coyote to just sit behind a table and give a test of 3 different creepy crawlies, free-handling them, applying a little bit of pressure and finding out whether or not they're gonna bite or sting, this would probably be it. We're gonna start out with number 1, which also happens to be the first bug that I ate when I was thinking to myself, hey, you know what? A scorpion sting isn't that bad. Let me just chomp down on this giant scorpion. Well, right here, my friends, we have a giant Asian forest scorpion. Get this guy out of the container. Trying not to get stung in the process. You'll notice the massive pinchers that this arachnid has, and they are certainly capable of giving you a really good pinch and a really solid sting. The green coloration is really unique as compared to a lot of scorpions we've seen elsewhere around the world. But I think the thing you're gonna notice first and foremost is just how big and creepy looking that bug is. Now, I feel bad a bit that I had one of these on a skewer that was cooked and I put it in my mouth and I crunched it up. But what I did learn from that process is that they're incredibly durable. That exoskeleton that covers the insect's entire body is so unbelievably rigid. The claws, in fact, I was not capable of crushing with my teeth. I'd say about as hard as a pistachio shell. So that goes to show you that these arachnids are incredibly well built. And I'm gonna turn a little bit like this. Mario, maybe you can zoom in on that stinger. Long, incredibly sharp, seems like it would probably give you a pretty nasty sting. But the truth be told, with most large scorpions like this, they rely on their pedipalps up front to be the main weapon that they use to kill, crush, or decapitate their prey. So the sting, believe it or not, is not nearly as potent as one might think. Now, in order to test that sting, or rather to prove that this scorpion's not necessarily just out there to get you, I'm gonna apply some pressure to the front of its head and see if it will voluntarily sting me. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Could be bad. I don't really want to get stung by something while I'm feeling this sick, but who knows? Maybe the venom will help cure me a bit. Look at that. Not a single defensive reaction. It's basically just letting me push down on top of its body. It's not even trying to pinch me. Now let's see what happens if I pick up his tail. Go ahead and let him pinch my finger. Do you want to pinch me? Okay, he doesn't even really want to pinch. He's trying to find something to get purchase with. You don't even want to pinch. I don't understand. I'm holding you by your tail. And he's just like, nope, let me go. I want to walk around. Amazing. This is something you would look at and think to yourself, it's an absolute nightmare, but it has no interest in pinching or stinging you. Look at that. I can just basically free handle it in any way that I want, and all it's trying to do is get me away from squeezing it with my fingers. I'm gonna try one more time, just a little bit further back towards the stinger, and see if we get different results. Absolutely nothing. I mean, I think I would physically have to try to crush this arachnid to the point where it felt it was going to be killed if it was going to use that stinger as a defense. Now, in a situation where I were to just uncover this scorpion in its natural environment and catch it off guard, it may be a bit more defensive. But since we've caught it, we've had it in a container, it's pretty calmed down. And as you can see at this point, it's doing a better job looking creepy than it is actually pinching or stinging. So there you have it. Giant forest scorpion, not willing to just sting unless extremely threatened. And when it comes to eating things like this, could that be the culprit and all the goo that was inside of its body that caused my stomach to be in the state of disrepair it's in right now? I don't know, but buddy, I'm sorry that I ate your cousin. Just trust me, I'm paying for it today. Put this guy back into his little container. I'm gonna let these guys all go back off into the wild this evening. And number two is going to be something that I was probably most dreading putting in my mouth, a tarantula. I mean, just the idea of taking a tarantula with all those urticating hairs on it and cooking it up and shoving it into your mouth, the fangs, abdomen, thorax, who knows what's gonna be inside of that. Actually, it was the tarantula that I ranked as one of the worst tasting insects that I ate. Now, we've seen a couple of these burrows in this area, and we'll show you guys a cool experiment of how if you tickle a stick around the outside of the burrow, those tarantulas will actually spring up out of the hole and attack the stick. And I very well may do that with my finger too, but we just haven't gotten to filming that yet.
Smacking of the finger made me jump.
This is the dumbest thing.
Come on, buddy, let's hang out. Come on. Ooh, he's so jumpy. I got you. Whoa, whoa. Okay, just like the ace, jump up. No! He's like, this is my opportunity to make a run for it. Don't worry, I got him. During an insane adventure like this, I need to be able to stay connected. Whether I'm researching creepy creatures like this, relaying important information to my team back at Brave Wilderness headquarters, or even keeping a phone charged in the wild to call for help, I know I can trust Bluetti to keep me powered up. This is the Bluetti Elite 30 V2, a compact power station that's surprisingly capable for its size.
Weighing just 4.3 kilograms, it's light enough for anyone to carry, even you.
And with a 288 watt-hour capacity, it delivers reliable power wherever you explore. Whether you're camping, road tripping, working outdoors, or just keeping a backup ready at home, that ultralight and high-efficiency performance makes it perfect for a smart, green lifestyle. But honestly, what impressed me the most is everything it can charge. With 9 output ports, the Elite 30 V2 can power multiple small devices at the same time. Phones, laptops, camera gear, field equipment, you name it. And it doesn't stop there. It can even handle high-resistance devices you normally wouldn't expect to use on a unit this size. And best of all, keeping it charged is easy, no matter where I'm filming.
Oh no, my phone died and Bluetti's almost out of juice. Good thing you can charge it anywhere. You can plug it into any wall outlet.
You can even tap into solar.
I got the power!
You can even charge it in your car. From long travel days to remote locations filled with bugs and creatures, it stays ready for whatever the day throws at us. Want one for your next adventure? Click the link in the description and use the discount code to get your own Elite 30 V2.
Thanks again to Bluetti for sponsoring this episode. Oh, bear!
But as you can see, even chasing after him like that, he didn't bite me. Now, if I apply pressure to the spider's body, it may choose to bite, and we'll try that in a second if I could get him to calm down. Whoop. Not easy to free handle one of these guys, but the blue legs are the thing that I think is the absolute coolest. And with the tarantula that I ate the other day, it was definitely bigger than this tarantula, but when you look at the abdomen, you can see whatever that's full of, and any of that getting into my stomach could quite possibly have caused some sort of problems. So I don't want to just blame the tarantula because I feel bad that I even ate a tarantula, but I have a feeling that just from the taste of what this one was, it could be one of the top culprits for what may be as sick as a dog. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm like dripping sweat right now. Hopefully, it was what I'm even saying making sense at the moment. I'm like so delirious. Hopefully any of this is coming across in the right way. But at least we've gotten the spider to calm down and I feel good about that. So when you look at the design of this arachnid's body, you see all of those little hairs, especially on the back of the abdomen. And those urticating hairs are usually the #1 defensive mechanism that these spiders will use to ward off a potential predator. A bite is usually only saved for inflicting a wound on a prey item. So it's like a worst case scenario that a tarantula like this would try to bite. And what I am gonna try to do, same way that I did with the scorpion, is I'm gonna apply a little bit of pressure to the thorax of the spider and see whether or not it's gonna choose to inflict a bite. Let's see what happens. Oh, you know what? He did, he just bit my arm. He definitely just bit my arm right there. And now he's crawling on my face. Okay, so the tarantula did want to give me a little bite. You guys didn't see that. I barely even felt it. I looked over, I was like, oh, are those his legs or are those his fangs? But he got me right there, and it basically feels like a bee sting. Now, he's on my shoulder. I really want you to come over here. Is he all the way on my back? Mario, can you come over and just coax him over to the front? I did not expect him to bite. I honestly thought that the tarantula was going to do nothing at all. He is rather frisky though. Okay, buddy, come here. Whoop, 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 whoop. And I always try to be extremely gentle with tarantulas because their bodies are more fragile than a centipede or a scorpion. But when I ate one the other day, I was surprised to see how rigid those legs and that thorax was. The abdomen, definitely squished like a gusher, but when it comes to the rest of its body, much more resilient than you would think. So there you have it, tarantulas. More likely to try to skitter off than they are to bite. All right, we're gonna let you go in just a few minutes, back in your box. Bloop. Well, we'll look at this in a second. It is starting to swell up a little bit. Now, the next thing that's coming out of the box is going to be a centipede. And Lockie caught this centipede the other day while looking for some snakes. And it's not the most colorful, but it's still a centipede. And you guys know how much I do not like getting bitten by centipedes. So fortunately, it's been staying pretty calm. I'm gonna attempt to free handle it and try that same idea of if you apply a little pressure, is it gonna bite? We know because centipede bites are so bad. Actually, my hand's starting to hurt a little bit from the tarantula, I'm not gonna lie. A little bit more than I thought, but still about on par for a bee sting. But I know the bite from this would be significantly worse. So I'm not gonna necessarily take a bite intentionally, but you know what? I kind of deserve to get bitten by all of them, having eaten one of their cousins. All right, let's see if little centipede wants to come out and play. Come on, buddy. Oh, this makes me nervous. Okay. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow, not up my shirt. Slow down, slow down. Geez, that makes me nervous. You see how fast they move and how quickly you've got to move from one hand to another. And so far, even after plopping onto the table and me getting it up and off the ground, still haven't been bitten. I'm sweating bullets because I have no idea how potent the venom of this centipede species is. So it just makes me nervous. All right, sweating bullets over here, guys. All right, no, I don't want you going up my shirt. Woo, that feels so weird. Now their legs have these tiny little hooks on them, as of course we've talked about in previous episodes. And that's what makes these myriapods so scary, is you feel like the second they latch on, you can't get them off. But lo and behold, here we have a centipede freely walking all over me without it necessarily wanting to bite. And I try to stay focused because if I don't, it might fall off my hand, and trying to pick it up off the ground again is definitely going to cause it to. Ooh, it's a risky little game there. Whoop. Now, when I me say this quietly so the centipede doesn't hear me. When I bit into the centipede the other day, I bit the head off to start with, and it was very crunchy, and the fangs themselves are incredibly rigid. Those fangs are actually modified legs that produce venom. And one of the coolest things about centipedes is that their heads and their tails, essentially the back end of them, looks identical, and that's something called defensive mimicry, so that if a predator comes into the environment, it may think that this end is the head and bite there, then the centipede can swing around. Oh! Ah! He went like through my shirt. Where did he go? Where did he go? Is he on me?
He went to the hook.
Is he still on you?
I don't know. He went like up my neck.
Nah, I saw him fall down here.
Where did he go? Are you sure he's not on me?
Yeah, I saw him fall.
You'll soon find out if he's on you.
Oh. As soon as it got by my neck, I freaked out. How could it disappear that quick? There's no way. Maybe he's in my pocket. You guys saw him on the ground.
I'm pretty sure.
I did not see him on the ground.
I mean, I feel like if he was in your shirt, he was still kind of moving, right?
Maybe. I would say take off your vest. Look.
Is he on my back?
No.
Yo, that's like the disappearing centipede. Maybe I'm just delirious because I'm sick. That really just happened? Okay.
So if I were you, I would go inside and double check everything real quick.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Hold
do
on.
that?
Wait, hold on. Just keep the cameras on. Keep them rolling. Just like, here, Mario, just like investigate into my shirt. Make sure he's like not in here. I feel like he'd be crawling though. Is he in my boot?
Honestly though, you gotta check your pants.
Oh my god, that would be so terrifying. Yep, that's not a centipede.
Oh my god, that was so crazy. I don't know how that just happened. That thing ran up my neck. I jumped out of the chair and it disappeared. That's why you don't make episodes when you're sick. All right, I'm sitting back down. We've officially lost the centipede. Unless it magically like reappears and bites me. Empty container. But that goes to show you something really important. That centipede was far more interested in escaping than it was biting me. And how did I react? The way people typically react when a centipede runs onto their body. And that's how people get bitten. You see something like that and you start smacking at it. I wanted to start smacking at it and I knew not to. That was just my natural reaction. And I jumped up out of the chair, not very bravely, but I didn't want it to go down my shirt. Sometimes if you just remain calm, the animal is trying to do nothing more than get away. And what do we just prove? That all three of these creatures, arachnids and myriapods, typically don't want anything to do with humans, and they will only bite as a last resort to get away. In the instance of the tarantula, it used its fangs more as a gripping mechanism than it did to actually give me a predatory bite, or maybe even a defensive bite. I am dripping bullets with sweat. And we have booked me an appointment in Bangkok tomorrow. I will be going to the hospital to get medication, and we'll probably wrap up this episode with that experience and what I end up getting prescribed that will hopefully bring an end to the situation that is happening with my stomach. But I think the moral of this story is be humble in all instances, because it was fun and games when we were at the market eating insects and I was saying Coyote Peterson finally gets to bite back at the bugs, but lo and behold, it's the bugs that got the final chomp. And now, as having eaten those bugs, that's going to be the first time I get sent to the hospital for doing one of these crazy stunts. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. I'll go lay down. Okay, so I just saw the doctor. It was very helpful. I'm getting prescribed 3 medications just to be safe. One that I'll take for 5 days just as a contingency, and the other 2 will be backups just in the event that for some reason vomiting or massive diarrhea comes back. But I think I'm in the clear on those 2. It sounds like it was probably just extreme food poisoning, which could have been bacteria on the outside of the insect's exoskeletons. So the moral of the story is bugs are friends, not food.